almost every house we've been, we've watched them gaping at the screen. They loll and slop and lounge about, and stare until their eyes pop out. Last week in someone's place we saw a dozen eyeballs on the floor. They sit and stare and sit, until they're hypnotized by it, until they're absolutely drunk with all that shocking, ghastly junk. Oh yes, we know it keeps them still. They don't climb out the windowsill. They never fight or kick or punch. They leave you free to cook the lunch and wash the dishes in the sink. But did you ever stop to think, to wonder just exactly what this does to your beloved tot? It rots the sense in the head. It kills imagination dead. It clogs and clutters up the mind. It makes a child so dull and blind. He can no longer understand a fantasy, a fairyland. His brain becomes as soft as cheese. His powers of thinking rust and freeze. He cannot think, he only sees. All right, you'll cry, all right, you'll say. But if we take the set away, what shall we do to entertain our darling children? Please explain. We'll answer this by asking you, what used the darlings once to do? How used they keep themselves contented before this monster was invented? Have you forgotten? Don't you know? We'll say it very loud and slow. They used to read. They'd read and read and read and read, and then proceed to read some more. Great Scott, good zooks! One half their lives was reading books. The nursery shelves held books galore. The books cluttered up the nursery floor, and in the bedroom by the bed more books were waiting to be read. Such wondrous fine fantastic tales of dragons, gypsies, queens, and whales, and treasure isles and distant shores, where smugglers rowed with muffled oars, and pirates wearing purple pants, and sailing ships and elephants, and cannibals crouching round the pot, stirring away at something hot. It smells so good, what can it be? Good gracious, it's Penelope. The younger ones had Beatrix Potter, with Mr. Todd, the dirty rotter, and Squirrel Nutkin, Pigling Bland, and Miss Tiggy Winkle, just how the camel got his hump, and how the monkey lost his rump, and Mr. Toad, and bless my soul, there's Mr. Rat and Mr. Mole. Oh, books! What books they used to know, those children living long ago! So please, oh please, we beg, we pray, go throw your TV set away, and in its place you can install a lovely bookshelf on the wall. Then fill the shelves with lots of books, ignoring all the dirty looks, the screams and yells and bites and kicks, and children hitting you with sticks. Fear not, we promise you that in about a week or two of having nothing else to do, they'll begin to feel the need of having something to read. And once they start, oh boy, you watch the slowly growing joy that fills their hearts. They'll grow so keen, they'll wonder what they've seen in that ridiculous machine, that nauseating, foul, unclean, repulsive television screen. And later, each and every kid will love you more for what you did. That was Televisions by Roald Dahl. Welcome to my backyard, guys. Okay, so back to the poem. I'm not saying that you should throw your television set away, because, if you did that, then you wouldn't be able to play Fortnite. And, who can live without Fortnite? I mean, I can't. But anyway, in all seriousness, this is a very important poem. Why is this a very important poem? Because it emphasizes how much reading is better than television. When you're actually reading and putting your mind on something, or doing anything academic, really, you are training your brain to understand more than it already does, which is super important for life. If you're spending all of your life not doing that, then prepare to have a really hard time succeeding. And we don't want that. So for my own personal relation to this, I don't read a lot, unless, the school makes me do it.
Doesn't mean I hate reading, but it also doesn't mean it also means that I don't have the initiative to read. I read about 2 books max over the summer. 2 books over the summer. That's it. And, that's not enough. And I don't watch a lot of TV, but when I do have free time, I tend to watch YouTube or TV, but I don't watch a lot of TV at all. But I tend to get on YouTube. And I could be reading. And so I should do that. As well as everyone else. Everyone else should, because that's what we all used to do. And I think people back then were much more sophisticated than we are. And much smarter too. So that's why it's so important. And Roald Dahl, in this poem, that's exactly what he's saying. The more that we lose, it's not just books. It can be, but having the temptation of that technology, it's way more tempting to go and play video games or watch a YouTube video than to read. Who wants to read? Nobody wants to do that. Everyone wants to see the latest episode of, Stranger Things or whatever you guys are into. Yeah, that shows you how much I don't watch TV. But yeah, anyway, that's what Roald Dahl is saying, and that's why the poem is so important, and I relate to it a lot. And the lesson from the poem is that we should all try to read more, and we'll see the results. It'll happen naturally. You'll get smarter. It'll happen, and you'll be a better writer too, which is great. So that's about it, guys. I'll see you later, or maybe never.